getting people to pay that. It's just crazy, and all of that just makes things a lot harder and a lot worse for people like my wife and I, and what we're trying to do, and the help we're trying to offer people that are truly in need of help. So it's just tough. But yeah, teams, and the flip side of that coin, as many demonic cases as I have come across my desk, just as many cases of paranormal teams that are new to this field. They were at the wrong place at the wrong time, said and did the wrong thing. Now they have an attachment that's followed them home, and it's turned their life upside down, and now they are calling me for help. So a lot of those types of ghost hunters that you mentioned get themselves in trouble too. So everybody just needs to be careful out there. If this is just a fad, you're jumping on board of the fad train, and I'm a ghost hunter. Be careful. You have to do some soul searching and dig deep down inside and figure out if this is just that or if it's a true calling. If it's a true calling, it's one thing. Most really knowledgeable paranormal investigators, ghost hunters, ghostbusters, they all have a passion to do this, and they've been doing it a long time. A lot of them are just doing it because it's a fad or it's just something else to do other than whatever hobby they had before that they got tired of. You better rethink the move because you might end up regretting it.
Well, Shawn, why I mentioned that, I had this one group on, and there was, I think, 5 or 6 members. They were new. They just started out. And when I had them on the show, I actually was the first and only guest. I actually cut off the show after about 20 minutes. I couldn't deal with it. Because, the very first thing they were saying, when I asked them, like, well, how many houses have you gone through, or how much investigation have you done? And they said 3. And, it turned out to be more for them a social gathering. And the thing that really set off the alarm with me, and I don't know if you heard it, James, when I was talking to him, but you know what they wanted to do? They wanted to get picked up by a cable channel, and they thought they could make money, by being a ghost hunting group on a cable channel. And what frustrated me is they were charging people $800 to come out and investigate their house. With no experience, no nothing, and thinking that they're going to get a show on a cable channel. Come on, people, you got to be, before you bring anybody in your house, you need to check them out, seriously, or you're going to have more problems than you had when you ever started having your problem. I'll tell you that much.
Yeah, absolutely.
Right. Well, you wouldn't go to, if you had to have some neurosurgery, you wouldn't go to your neighbor and say, hey, wasn't you thinking about, taking up neurosurgery and have them do it? You want to look into it and find somebody that's reputable and got a few years experience for sure.
I don't know. It just seems like you're asking for trouble. You're asking for attachments. You're actually, and in fact, one of the people that I did get a hold of one of their encounters with a family, homeowner, and they swore up and down after they came in their house, whatever problem they were having, it was tenfold. So you got to be careful. You just do.
Yeah. I still get in trouble. I just this past Saturday night, my wife went to spend the weekend down in Arizona for her mother's 103rd birthday.
Oh, wow.
And so for the first time in a year, we don't do anything. I'm here all by myself for 3 days. And I knew already, I still have ghosts here, but I knew that some needed to be, for lack of another term, convinced that they needed to go to the light, cross over. But I felt that something worse had also kind of put up tent here, and it was affecting my behavior. And so I reached out to wonderful psychic medium on the East Coast that over via Skype, with her on the screen, widescreen, and me with the volume turned up, was able to get most of these spirits that were willing to cross on, which lightened the load here big time. But this one that was attached to me wouldn't go. So about 3 a.m. in the morning, if I have a preference, I like to do a blessing and a cleansing and a smudging at about 3 a.m. in the morning. They're most active, and I like to meet the challenge head-on, face-to-face. This thing didn't want to go. And my two mastiffs, a male and a female, they're inseparable. They love each other to death. In the blink of an eye, my female attacked my male, and as quickly as the attack came, it was over, and they were both looking at each other like, what was that all about? Then they went to their respective corners and chilled out. But then a large decorative ashtray I had on my wife and I don't smoke, but we received this gift of a really large decorative ashtray that we have on display on the dining room table, just shattered. I ultimately felt, after I got done with doing what I do, that it moved on. But it didn't want to move on without a little bit of to rebel a little bit and lash back out at me and let me know that it was not happy that I was pushing it out of there. But after that, after I was done, the place feels wonderful. There's still some spirits here, yes, because they were here when we got here, but it felt a lot better. And so here you have me reaching out to a psychic medium for some help. I can count them on both hands, the people I've met in 40 years that are truly, truly gifted psychic mediums with a gift that I believe came right from God. And some I wouldn't even doubt were once angels inhabiting a body in this lifetime. Now, this is their particular journey. But, not very many of them I've met, but I've met enough I can count on two hands, and she's one of them. And she helped me. Sometimes you have to do that. It's like the animal hospital I work at. The doctors will not let me assist on surgery if it's my animal, and I've been doing that for 20 years. But there's something different when it's in your home and you're the one under attack. There's just something different about that, and even I reach out for help if I need it.
I got to ask you a question, Shawn. We were talking about mediums. Now, I've had a lot of mediums on my show. I've had a couple of them which I really, truly felt they had the gift. I also had a lot of them on my show. I'm going to get in trouble for saying this, that, I believed them as much as I would believe a 3-year-old that stole a pack of gum out of my wife's wallet, purse. I mean, and then I feel very uncomfortable when you see some of them going like on Facebook Live and charging people $250 for a reading.
Yeah. Well, Gary, you've been doing this a lot longer than me. Your show's been around a lot longer than mine. Bottom line is, you're a good person. You're a good soul. Everybody that likes you knows that. We're in the entertainment business, too. Our radio show, our entertainment is, as much as we'd like to know that everybody we brought on is on the up and up, that'd be great, but I'm in the same boat. I know I've had people on that I've felt the same way about. God bless them, they're probably wondering why I never reached out to them again and had them on the show. And it's not just psychic mediums. They could have been from all different branches of the paranormal community. But it is what it is. It's the risk we take, and people that, enjoy your show and enjoy you, they know that it's not a setup, that you didn't set that up. You have a guest on. You have a show to do. You're also an entertainer along with all the other things that you do, and that's just a part of what we do. We're going to have some people on our shows that we know deep down inside, okay, but we just have to roll with the punch,
Oh, that's all you can do. When I was in retirement, and my friend Art Bell, called me up about 2 Septembers ago, and kind of lectured me. He said I was too old to be riding my Harley. I needed to get back into radio, and he helped me get back into radio after being, off for a while, retired. But it's one thing. Through talking to Art all through the years, one thing he always used to tell me, that talk radio is entertainment. We're not news reporters. We're not, we're no more than, a host in giving the best entertainment as we can. And yeah, you get people on the show. I've had it. I'm sure you probably have had it. You already know what they're going to talk about, supposedly, because you do a pre-interview, at least I do. And all of a sudden you get them on the show and they're talking about 180 degrees something else, which, they supposed to be talking about, UFOs, but then all of a sudden they're talking about, there's 25 million UFO aliens circling the Earth, protecting Earth, from, whatever, You start wondering, okay, this person sounded normal when you did a pre-interview. What do? You have to just kind of go along with it. And again, the listeners have to make a decision. That's why I got my little legal disclaimer.
Yes, absolutely. It is what it is. I take it with a grain of salt, but for the most part, I have a little secret I'm going to divulge here to anybody that might want to do what you and I do. I usually make Facebook friends with them first, at the very least, and I've known them for a while. We've been friends for a while. We've corresponded many times via private message or email or maybe even perhaps on the phone, but we've known each other for a while, and then one day I surprised them and asked them if they would be interested in being a guest on the show. And so I didn't have their friendship because it's been a 6-month or 1-year interview and they didn't know it. But it turned out to be. And now I'm comfortable with this person. And I know they're comfortable with me too because we're friends and we know each other. And I trust them. And I know that having them on is just going to be an extension as if everybody was eavesdropping in on my private phone call with them. But that's a little trick that I do. Not every guest that I have on is a friend, but I try. I try to have most of my guests that I invite on people that I've been friends with for a while. And so it makes me also a little more comfortable knowing who I'm about to have on.
I guess that would work. I do, make sure that I do put them on, Facebook. I do monitor their posts and stuff like that. But then, my show, I have some occasionally like Calvin Parker and some, people that are kind of somewhat famous, like in UFOs or, in different fields of the paranormal that really don't get on Facebook because of their age.
Well, see, that's the difference between you and I. Your show has been on longer. It's more popular. You have a bigger listener base. You have been doing it longer than I have, and you're able to reach out to those people. You know what happens when I reach out to the so-called really well-known famous people? Many of them blow me off. Sometimes I don't even hear back from them, and if I do hear back from them, many of them, have some type of excuse why they can't come on the show. I've actually had some tell me I don't do radio anymore. And then the week later, I see him on somebody else's radio show, and I just kind of laugh. I don't get mad, but I just kind of laugh. And I just have to take that with a grain of salt, too, because I'm just a normal guy. I'm really a nobody. So I understand it. I get it. Maybe one day it won't be like that. But when I get there and I'm in your shoes, I will be gladly take the famous person who I don't know and use that as a launching board or a springboard to get to know them better and bring them in to introduce to my listeners who will probably already know who the person is. But I'll gladly accept that problem one day. Unfortunately, I haven't really had to deal with it much.
Well, I'll be honest with you. I only been back because, like I said, I was retired. I only been broadcasting now almost 2 years back. The first year and a half, honestly, I couldn't find, I hate to say it, any great guest. They were just the average person. It's their first time book being written in the paranormal or, first time, whatever in the paranormal. And they weren't really on any shows before. Then all of a sudden, about 6-7 months ago, all of a sudden, I'm getting contacted now by all the big names, and maybe it's because my listenership has grown, but it is so much different. Internet radio is so much different than when I was on commercial radio, like working on KVI or KTAC or KVIC or all these radio stations in the past. I mean, there you had your radio, FM or AM listenership, so much different than, internet. And, the internet, it takes a lot longer too, Shawn, for people to discover you. So, it's not like, you're tired at night, so you turn on your local radio station and you listen to the talk show.